What's going on, everyone? Welcome to the Warehouse Series, guys. Thank you for joining Discord Friday. If you're not all this over here, guys, subscribe, thumbs up. Discord, link in the description below. Join that free community. It's a great community over there. If you want to help support the channel, I really appreciate it. So I do want to say a thing. There's 2 videos coming out this week. I am going to be making another video as soon as I'm done with this one. So keep an eye out for that one. And it is falling back on his selection of career. I was adding it on to here and it was just taking way too long. It was going to be a 20+ minute video. So I figure I'm going to put out a separate video on a conversation that me and a Discord member were having. So keep an eye out for that one. But for today, let's get to some people's work that they posted over on Discord, and hopefully we can help them out. All right, guys, before we get to that, first, I want to show you Tim's top videos. So basically what this is my videos that I think that are worthy of watching. They're probably one of my better ones that I put out, stuff that really consider why you're going into a warehouse. And I just added today, I added I added yesterday at the time of filming this, part 3 of my cross and T video. So if you guys are new to the channel and you hear me talk about the cross and T all the time, part 2 and part 3 are in this section right here. The heck with part 1. Part 2 and part 3 are right over here on Discord. Tim's top videos. It'll be real easy for you guys to find. All right, guys. So the first person we're going to look at is these right here. Now, I call these time builders. Anytime you got a lot, like 2 full pallets, and obviously this is probably literally 20 some cases, maybe 30 cases tops because of these big cases. This is knowing your warehouse, knowing exactly what cases I'm going to be selecting. And when I get an order like this, I would be gone, all right? Because there's no thinking once you start getting into these bigger boxes, you're just throwing them and going because they're pretty much going to land in the position that you need them to. So first of all, your back pallet's perfect. You build a nice base that looks like butters, and then you just stacked all this stuff on top. So back pallet looks great. Let's take a look at your other work that you did. So this right here. So me personally, what I would do is all the Butterfingers and stuff like this. I'm guessing this is only a matter of 1 hour or maybe even 2. Maybe you're in an hour, you grab all your Skittles and stuff like this down here, and then you go over to your chips. And it looks like it's Halloween time, so you're probably going to get more of these. So what I would do is if I start off, I am going to utilize the front half of my pallet, okay? I'm going to try to stack all this stuff, the Skittles, the Butterfingers, Starburst. I'm going to try to keep it all towards the front of my pallet, leave the whole back of my pallet open, because that's 2 stacks of chips straight up in the air that I don't have to worry about. And then I'm going to worry about keeping my highs and lows, because if I have a high corner and a low inside, then when I put that big box of chip on, they're going to be leaning into each other, so I'm going to be fine. And I'm going to try to keep that high to a low minute. You don't want it like this where the chip is going to be, falling off a cliff. So I would work on taking these contents, keeping it towards the front of my pallet, leaving the back of my pallet open for a lot of these chips to stack on. And I think, not that you didn't do a good job, but something tells me you might have struggled a little bit. And I don't mind you putting the chips on their sides as long as you're putting more chips on top, because you're not going to crush them. But I think it would make your pallet go a lot faster. If we just threw all this stuff up towards the front of your pallet and then left the back of the pallet open for open stacking, for column stacking these boxes, because they're nice big boxes, more than likely they're not tipping over. So try it that way if you would like. I think it would go a lot faster. All right, guys, here's the front of that pallet right here. So, all right, so look, so these cans right here, I would have faced that direction. This Skittles is damn near even or just a little lower. So I would have put the Skittles right in here. All right, so now you got this big solid case coming back. You got your Skittles in the middle. And then the Butterfinger back here would have been right on top of that, tying in, pointing in this direction. Your Starburst probably would have been right behind the Sweethearts, or Sweethearts rather. Sweetheart. So that's what I would have done. And then I would have had the whole back of my pallet to stack all these chips, and I could have easily stacked chips on top of the front of those cases, because they're flat boxes and we would have been good. So that's what I would have done. So try that next time. All right, guys, we talked about this order. Well, I think it's the same order, just a different view. And what I wanted to say is like, one thing that I noticed with people is that they don't utilize their downtime. So let's say you finish early, or there's no orders or whatever. Go to the part of the warehouse that's you're struggling with, and utilize that time off the clock. If you're not chasing minutes at the given time because there's no orders in the system or whatever it is, go over here and start playing around with some juices. Start seeing how you could fill out the base of this juice as much as possible. Take a picture of it with your phone and remember it. And then every single time you go to this part of the warehouse and you start selecting these juices as a base, then you know exactly how you want to stack them. All right. So if you're getting a lot of these juices and you have to use them as a base, well, start learning the pattern that works on these plastic pallets. All right. I just wanted to add that on from last week. All right, guys, the next couple pictures we're going to look at is the same selector. I like them. I like this nice solid base. We got a crushed case facing inwards. If this side's crushed and the other side's good, I probably even would have swapped it around, have that crushed side facing in. We got a weak middle, which is good. We want strong corners. We got nice strong corners with a weak middle. A little too weak to my likings, so let's start working on the inside of this pallet. But see this green box right here? Even though we got a slight coming in, this green box would have fit perfect right here just to fill this in. Or you could even just separated these cases. I would have tried to fill in this gap with this right here. This would have been here, and then this box would have probably been on top, and then you could have pointed your white boxes in. It's not a bad looking pallet. Even the back of your pallet, it's leaning inwards. I like it. So that means that you're keeping your high corners with your low inside. I just think we need to work on filling out the layers now. See, like this case here, I don't know if this is a solid case, but it looks long. It should have still been pointing inwards. Remember, always point your cases in. Unless you have two, you can go back. But also you want to separate them a little bit, because this case wouldn't have been leaning if we would have just separated this case. But once again, this case with the green stripe could have been right in here, and we could have filled this out a little bit better. Your long case could have been pointing in. You did a lot better job on this one right here. This one's really nice because, guys, this is what I talk about. You have two columns, all right, and then we utilize the tie-in. This is exactly perfect. This is how you want to do it. When you have a column here and a column here, the goal is to try to get them level and time in, and you did that just perfectly. And this is fine up here. You get towards the top of your pallet, just, if you're a shorter selector, you just start throwing them up. But you did a really nice job on this one. All right, guys, this is the pallet that I want you to chime in down below. Now, I think this is Cold Wolf's work, so obviously I don't want you to chime in because you already probably know what I'm going to talk about. But on this pallet, what is the one thing that you think that I disagree with 1000%? If you can find it, leave it in the comment section below. And I'm going to wait for a little bit. I want some people to answer. But let me know on this pallet, 1000% I would never do. All right, guys, and the last picture I want to look at is this one right here. It's a nice pallet, but there's a lot of things, or not a lot, but there's a few things I want to say. Is one, this right here. So I don't like sticking cases up on end for the reason that you see right here. This, believe it or not, this corner could easily push over this corner. If you were to go around and bend, it could easily fall over. So if I had this case here and I started getting these, I'm literally just pulling this case out, and I would rather have this case sitting flat here. Because even though it's flat here, it's going to be mainly on this box right here, and we're not going to have too much case hanging in the gap, so it should fit flush there. But that's what I would have done. I would have just pulled this box out and just dropped this whole column down and maybe take this box and stick it on top. Because, yeah, that could easily knock a corner over. The other thing I want to say is this case right here is sticking out. Now, it looks like you have a solid base. So if it's a back under, all right, so there's multiple things here why this case is sticking out. It obviously fits on the pallet if we have all the same cases and we're good over here. So there's two things that are going on here. Either one, this case slid on the plastic pallet and you never corrected it. Guys, when you're driving, sometimes when plastic pallets, cases will start to slide because this is a smooth surface. Or maybe you just got a jack that, rumbles around and it starts shaking cases off. Well, make sure that you fix it before you put the next layer on, because this is not a good thing. Or you backed under it and the side was shifted and you just didn't take the time to fix it. Guys, if I have a back under and the cases are messed up on it, I'm fixing it. I'm taking the extra 20 seconds to fix it. All right, unless I'm about to lose my job because I have no time on the clock and I can't afford to do it, whatever. But, take the time to fix the case. Another thing I want to say is this is hanging on to this pallet. I have seen this thousands of times. All right, so let's say this was the back pallet, although it's our front pallet, but let's say it was the back pallet, and this is our front pallet. And this case is hanging out onto this pallet. Well, when you go to separate your orders to wrap it and you lift up, well, guess what? You're going to be lifting this case up. And a lot of times, if this is blue wood, it'll drag that case right out, and then the whole front of your pallet is going with it. I've seen it multiple times, so be really careful about hanging cases from one pallet to the other. All right, guys, so that's it for today. Thank you for joining. I hope those tips helped you. Watch my cross and tee videos over there on Discord, and keep an eye out for my other video that's going to be coming out.